the first 6 days of the 2021 or 2020 Tokyo Olympics. How bloody good. How awesome is it to see what these athletes are doing? Now, the commonality between every single athlete out there competing is not what's done in front of the camera, but in fact what they've done behind the camera. And I guess the question for us as leaders of teams is we have to accept that there is no such thing as overnight success with the people in our team or even ourselves. The key is what we do behind the scenes. The key is what we do in private. And the key is our plan. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to see able and disabled-bodied humans, and we will sit there amazed at what they're going to achieve. It'll be phenomenal. We'll see names that we recognise, and then there'll be new athletes that are going to rise to prominence, rise to stardom. But no athlete is an overnight success. Years of training, years of working hard, and we won't see any of that. We just see the 3 minutes or the 2 hours in a marathon. That's all we see. Perhaps as leaders of teams, we need to change our expectations of our team. Perhaps we need to put more effort in behind the scenes to get better performance from our teams when they're in front of everybody. But most importantly, we probably need to build greater trust between the team and you. Welcome to JTInTheRaw, show 251. Show 251. Carol, good morning. It's great seeing you over there in the Wild Wild West. Welcome to JTInTheRaw, coming to you same time every single week. And this week, our focus is on what we need to be doing as leaders of our team. And I've got one key sentence from the great Ariane Titmus that I'm going to share with you very shortly, which is a great and powerful insight into how we should be leading our teams. First up, I just want to let you know, on one of the Facebook pages that I have, which is called JT, I am replaying every single JTInTheRaw show, from show 1 all the way through. Every day there's a new show. So if you wanted to check that out, whether you're watching live or on replay, just put JT in the comments. I'll send you a link to that Facebook page and you can get on there and see some of the crap that I used to put out. One of the interesting things about that channel or that Facebook page is I'm also giving each show a star rating. So you haven't got to watch the show. You can read the summary of what is in the show, and you can see the star rating on whether you think you should watch it or not. So, JT in the comments below. Now, what about the Olympics? Whose performance have you loved most? Whether you're watching live or on replay, chuck in the comments, who have you loved most? Has it been Jess Fox just last night, if you're Australian? Has it been Katie Ledecky in that 1500 metre? She's just killed it. Is it McIntosh? I think her name's Samantha McIntosh, the 14-year-old from Canada, who I don't think has won a medal yet, but 14, and she's up there against Titmus, she's up there against Ledecky, and doing a great job. Who is your highlight of the Olympics? Chuck their name in the comments below, whether you're watching live or on replay, because I want to know who you are loving. So, let's talk about this overnight success. You know, one of the beautiful things about the Olympics is that we see the end result. But we also get to hear from the parents of many of the athletes. And it's the parents that actually tell us what the athletes have been through over the last 4 years, 5 years, even a lifetime for some of them. And you hear about the stories of these athletes, the times that they got up in the morning, the injuries that they've had, the training they've had to go through. It is quite phenomenal. And so we must understand as leaders of our teams that what those athletes are delivering is a metaphor for what we deliver in our business. There is no such thing as overnight success. Your salespeople will not become top salespeople overnight. Your admin people will not be smooth and fast at admin overnight. There is a process that we need to go through. Our athletes train. Our staff need to train. Our athletes practice. Our staff need to practice. We need to break down the skills, each of those skills, so that we can refine them and analyze them. One thing I've absolutely loved about the swimming is how Ian Thorpe has analysed the swimming. I never knew it was so scientific. I never knew how scientific the swimming was. I knew there was technique to it. But there's not just technique, there's science. The way he was able to break down why Kyle Chalmers got the silver medal and not the gold because of his breathing. There are bubbles on hands when they're under the water. Thorpe is an expert. He breaks it down. Us as leaders, we are experts in our field. We've got to break down those skills. Break them down and find out where those skills are a weakness, and then we have to work with our team to improve upon them. There is no such thing as overnight success, and as leaders, we've got to be the coach of our team. Now, of course, not only is it the 4 or 5 years, who have you got there, Carol? Racer Leal, skateboarding. How cool is skateboarding, Carol? Love it. It is a great new sport. Skateboarding and surfing are my two big loves out of these Olympics as well. Being phenomenal. What those people can do on a skateboard is phenomenal. So the question of the day, if you're just joining on replay or live, is who is your standout athlete that you've seen so far in the Olympics? Pop them in the comments, the person that you've absolutely loved. Okay, so not only is it the last 5 years or lifetime training up to this event, it's also what happens at the event. They've got to get their body right. They've got to get their mind right. And that's a big one, getting their mind, getting their head in the game. It was interesting, last night listening to something that the swimming commentators talk about the roller coaster of emotions. How Jess Fox can foul out on one run twice, go from what is a gold medal position to a bronze, and then come back 24 hours later and win. Phenomenal. How Ash Barty in a tennis game can be down a set, down a couple of games, and yet come back and win the match. These people have got very strong mindsets. For us as leaders, the power of the mind of our team is so critical. We've got to be working them with that. Because not everything that we plan goes to plan. So we've always got to be ready for that next event, that next person. We can have somebody who does a sales presentation, it doesn't go to plan, the person doesn't buy the product, the widget, whatever it may be. And so we're in a rut. We're like, what's going on? What's going on? We've got to get rid of that. We've got to get back on the horse, get on the roller coaster of emotions and have another go. These are the lessons that we can learn from these athletes. As leaders, our job is to train and to practice with our team to help get their mind right. Yes, we need to do all of that. However, this is the big one for me. And remember, if you're watching live or on replay, I want to see in the comments who has been your athlete of the Olympics so far. Who's been your athlete of the Olympics so far? Put their name in the comments. But this is the key for me. Oh, who's Brad's got? Flora Duffy. Flora Duffy was phenomenal. First ever medal for Bermuda. She was incredible, Brad. And there was a lady, and I can't remember her name, but she was in the lightweight weightlifting, and she won the first ever medal for the Philippines. And it showed a picture of her hands. Oh my gosh, no wonder those weightlifters. Whew. Okay, here's the big one. Here is the big one. The key for me is what Ariane Titmus said after her 400 meter race. And she said this. Remember, her coach, crazy man, Dean Boxall, love him, he was awesome. She said this: I had to trust my coach and our plan. I had to trust my coach and our plan. What a great question to ask yourself as a leader of your business. Do your team trust you as a coach and trust you with the plan that you have for them? All of these athletes have coaches. All of these athletes work with their coaches, but implicitly trust their coaches to plan leading into this event, to plan what happens at the event. The athlete's job is to get in and do the work, to win the race, to do the best that they can at whatever event they're performing in. But they trust their coach that they've put that plan in place to do the very best, to hit that high performance on the day. My question for you is that you can do all the training you like, because of course, like I said, there's no overnight success. You can do all the training you like. You can do all the practice you like. You can do the breakdown and analysis of all of the skills of your team to make sure what they're doing behind the scenes results to a high performance. But if your team does not trust you as their leader and as their coach to plan your strategy moving forward, you will not hit that high performance. That's the question for you. That's the movement that you need to make, is building that trust between your team and you and the plan that you have for the business, for the department, for the team. There has to be that trust. And we've seen that in the first 6 days of the Olympics. We will see that in the next 10 days of the Olympics. We'll see that into the Paralympics. Athletes trust their coaches. Does your team trust you? Thanks for tuning in to JTInTheRaw. Coming to you same time every single week, right here, chewing the thin on business. And after 31 years in business, I have just a few thins to chew. If you got any value out of today's show, please hit the share button wherever it is. Have you seen any athletes who do not have coaches? No. All athletes have coaches. I think Nick Kyrgios doesn't have a coach, but he hasn't won a major. They all have coaches. So, same time every week. If you got any value out of today's show, or you know anybody that could get value out of today's show, please tag them in the comments below. Just a little @ symbol, write their name, they'll get a tag, they can watch this in their own time. But I'm really grateful, as always, for people sharing the show, so thank you if you do. Hope you got value out of today's show. Remember, question of the day: who has been your athlete of the Olympics? Pop their name in the comments below. Love to know who your athlete is just 6 days into the event. Love to know who you think. But the question is, to finish with, for you to go away and think about, is does your team trust you as a coach? Do they trust the plan that you have put together with them for the business, for them and for the business moving forward? Because no one has overnight success. It requires practice, training, breakdown, analysis, determination, getting our head right, but having the plan. Having the plan. Does your team trust you? Hey, I'll catch you on the flip side.